our way through the complexities of getting interns over the water to the UK to do their internships here. We know that the UK is still a very much desired destination, and there has been a lot of misconceptions in EU universities about how to, well, first of all, whether or not Erasmus grants can be used in the UK still, which technically they can, but we have become increasingly aware that universities have decided not to allow their students to use their Erasmus funding for internships in the UK, sort of limiting it to university exchanges only. So that's been another hurdle to come across, but it's fine. We are working our way through that as well. Back in 2020, 2021, we were working with BUNAC for the certificate of sponsorship and visa applications for students to come to the UK. That is quite a timely process, and so we have begun a relationship in 2022 with a firm of global immigration lawyers called Fragaman, and have got a very, very seamless process underway for the certificate of sponsorship. Now, the certificate of sponsorship is required by the UK Visas and Immigration Authority to allow a student to pay to apply for their visa. The certificate of sponsorship is easy to apply for, basically because I do it for the university, for the student, and for the company. From the student, all I need is a valid passport, a certificate of enrolment at the university or graduation letter, and up-to-date CV. I can apply for a certificate of sponsorship for up to 5 years after graduation, which is quite, you know, that's brilliant. I mean, I think up to 5 years is probably pushing it a bit, but maybe up to 2 years after graduation, people are still looking for that work experience to build on and consolidate the skills that they've learned at university. The certificate of sponsorship can be for up to 12 months in duration, and there doesn't appear to be anything stopping anybody applying for another one after that first 12 months. We have literally just ourselves taken on an intern that we had last year in our sister company, and brought her back for another 12 months this year, and absolutely fine. From the company, I would need a detailed job description, and then I just need a couple of documents e-signed by them, and then I prepare and submit the application to our lawyers. The application takes up to 72 hours to be processed. It's normally a day or two, and then once that comes through, I send the students instructions on how to apply for their visa. EU passport holders, that's all done online, with biometrics being done online, and then the visa is held in the chip in their passport. For non-EU passport holders, they will also have to attend a visa application centre. But again, the timing for both online and visa application centres for the visa process is about 15 working days. So we kind of work to a 6-week minimum from start to finish for the certificate of sponsorship and visa to be processed. Now, obviously there's a cost, and being lawyers, it's quite expensive. But we are seeing that some universities are allowing students to use their Erasmus funds for the certificate of sponsorship, if nothing else. Now, the lawyers charge a fee, and that is approximately £1,280. £55 of that goes to the government, the rest goes to the lawyers. We're just kind of the middleman passing the money through. The visa application is approximately, well, it's £320, I think now, approximately €390. The student pays for that online when they apply for their visa. For internships over 6 months in duration, the government also charges an immigration health surcharge, and that's £1,035, which is quite staggeringly expensive. But that's where we are at the moment. That's what we've got to work with, and we encourage our host companies to pay for the immigration health surcharge, so we reimburse the student that, pay for at least 50% of the certificate of sponsorship application. We're trying to move towards them, the companies paying for the COS application in full. And then if the student can't get their Erasmus grants to come to the UK, we're also asking our host companies to contribute to their cost of living allowance, something in the region of £250 a month, which is more than ample for cost of living in the UK. Our internships offer accommodation provided in full, including utilities, Wi-Fi, etc., and commuting costs to and from the place of work. Yeah, and on top of that, we are now introducing this cost of living allowance. That is the process of the certificate of sponsorship and visa application. The certificate of sponsorship and visa are both through what's called a temporary worker government authorised exchange. It's very specific for things like internships. An employer couldn't sponsor an intern themselves coming on an internship. It has to be through this specific route, and there are only 3 companies in the UK that can are authorised to issue the COS under this specific scheme, and Fragerman's one of them, Bunak's another, and there's another firm of lawyers as well. For students going to perhaps a university for a research opportunity for up to 6 months, they don't need a visa if they're an EU passport holder. We can help facilitate that as well by sort of validating the fact that it's a research opportunity as opposed to a work experience, and that can also work for non-EU passport holders, but they would have to apply for a standard visa coming into the UK. The other thing that the UK's introduced is the electronic travel authorisation. So if a student comes without a visa, for example, on a research opportunity, they would need to apply for the electronic travel authorisation, which is very quick and simple to apply for and costs £16. Are there any questions so far? I've kind of rattled through that quite quickly because I do it quite often. But essentially, the UK is still open. It's really, really quick and easy because basically I do everything for everybody, and I have 100% success rate. I've had no failures. I wouldn't submit an application if I didn't think it was going to get through for the lawyers and then go on for the visa. The other thing that I have, which is a luxury really, if there's a delay in the visa application, the lawyers can contact UK Visas and Immigration and find out what the delay is, whereas the student can't. Hello, B.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. Yes, my question is that I suppose that before you apply through you for the certificate sponsorship, you need to have a contract, a signed contract with a company. already? This is a prerequisite, I suppose.
So what we use is an internship agreement. We do the same process as we would for our own internships. It's a job role description, a set of tasks, and then we get the company and the student to sign that. This is just evidence, additional
Yeah.
evidence to show that it's not a job, it's a learning
Yeah.
experience. So yeah, there is that element too.
So first, but can the student themselves, can they suggest a company, or is this offered by you as well, or does it have to go through you?
We have had many students come through us who have found their own internships and just used us
Hmm.
to book the internship and then pay for the certificate of sponsorship. So yes.
Yeah, students find their own internship, or you are also
Or
willing to
yeah,
be
I
an
mean
intermediate.
we have internships offered on our ESPA website,
Hmm.
and I'll talk about ISDA in a minute, but
Yeah,
we also
okay,
we also have opportunities through ISDA.
great. Thank you.
Anybody else for any quick questions? Okay, so I will just briefly talk about ISDA as well. ISDA is a global internship program. It's been in existence since 1948, I believe. There is an ISDA Belgium committee, and basically ISDA works in the same way as ESPA does in the fact that we place students in companies. The additional benefit with ISDA is that we all commit through this program to offer the student a cost of living allowance regardless. That is normally set at a minimum of £500. And again, the certificate of sponsorship is covered in full through the ISD program if they come to the UK. And the other benefits also include the accommodation and commuting costs, and immigration health surcharge if the internship's over 6 months. I will put that in the chat. Um,
I'm
ISD.
working on that, Petrina. I'm putting the link of ISD. Okay.
Okay, cool. ISD, as I said, is global. There are maybe 80 plus committees throughout the world, and it's a great opportunity for students all around the world to get internships and experiences through living abroad, working abroad, meeting new people, just having a fully cultural experience. One of the advantages that we've found in the past year is we work with a company in Northern Ireland, excuse me, called CDE Group. They are a global company with plants in America and Austria and Jordan and all around the world anyway. And they have currently got 3 interns, one from Spain, one from Austria, one from Jordan, and they've come to Ireland to basically for a 12-month internship to basically learn the job from the head office, and then what the intention is by the company is for them to go back to their home countries as a fully trained employee to take up an early career start within the company in Austria, for example. So we're finding that's it's very appealing to global companies to be able to have the first 12 months maybe slightly cheaper than a full-time employee while they're learning the job. So they're not on payroll, they're not subject to income tax or pension deductions or national insurance or anything like that, but they're still treated like a full-time employee with normal sort of work to right regulations. Yeah, so we relaunched ISD last year properly, and we are just trying to get the momentum behind it and get linked to all the committees throughout the world and introductions to new companies. So yeah, any questions? Have I covered everything that you wanted me to cover?
I'm looking at the screen to see if anyone raises his or her hand. And there's Bea again.
Again,
Thank you
me.
for your
Yeah.
question, Bea.
Yeah, I'd never heard about ESD. I'm just reading on the website right now, exploring the website. But is it for free, the mediation, or do students have to pay for mediation or accommodation or whatever?
Normally, if a student came to the UK, we would sort the accommodation out. They might have to pay a fee to ISD Belgium. I don't know. Unfortunately, each committee has different ways of working. I think there's a €20 registration fee on the ISD platform, which is set by the global ISD team. Equally, committees can choose to not charge that fee.
Yeah.
For us, we will always organise accommodation. We will all for free. We will always. That's correct. Yeah. Veronique, your question, yes, it's almost exactly the same. It's just that ISD offers a guaranteed cost of living allowance on top of the accommodation and commuting. Also guarantees the certificate of sponsorship application fee to be completely covered rather than through ESPA. At the moment, we are trying to move away from it, but at the moment at ESPA we ask the student to pay a contribution of €500 towards the certificate of sponsorship application fee. Going back to ISD, I don't know if ISD Belgium charges their students a fee to be nominated for a role. Currently we do. In the UK, for a UK student going abroad, we ask for a fee, but we have set up a program whereby they could earn that feedback just by doing a bit of social media content creation or introducing us to companies or things like that. So we're trying to make it free. It's just not easy. Obviously, the way our program works is that we charge the host company for their student. So we're not just this magic company that has money coming out of our ears. We do actually have to charge the companies that we work with in order to get them to want to have an intern. They pay us. So on Veronique, through ESPA, we are trying to move away from asking the students to contribute towards the certificate of sponsorship, but currently we are in a sort of a transition period. Up until now, we have always asked the student to pay €500 towards a certificate of sponsorship in ESPA, and then the company pays the balance, which is sort of over 50% of the cost. The student pays us, the host company pays us, and then we pay the lawyers. So it just keeps it simple. The lawyers invoice ESPA, and then we pay them. But for ISD, the certificate of sponsorship cost is covered in full by by ISD. It's just the way the program fee is worked out. We work it out on the national minimum wage requirements in this country. So that's a minimum rate of £12.21 per hour. That just enables us to cover our costs, cover the lawyers' fees, covers the accommodation costs, and allows a cost of living allowance. And that's the same throughout the whole ISD program. It's set up around the national minimum wage of the receiving country. Generally, the visa fees the student will pay themselves when they apply. Sometimes the company will reimburse that. If the internship's longer than 6 months, then the company reimburses the immigration health surcharge, which is £1,035. But hey, you never know. In the next few months, we might hear a little bit of change of heart from the UK government due to recent chats with the EU. We might be able to open up for EU students coming over here and us coming to the EU visa free. So I'm ever hopeful.
Yeah, but Trina, you're following up that development, I suppose, not every day, but on a regular basis. And
Oh yeah.
How do you look at that future development or possible development?
I don't actually think the UK has much choice other than to agree to this youth mobility style of exchange. It has to happen. And I think that our UK government is under a lot of pressure from behind the scenes in the UK and from the EU to open the borders back up in that respect. We work with KU Leuven contract for internships abroad via our legal department. I don't know.
Yeah, I just wanted to intervene because I'm sorry, I'm working at the Faculty of Economics, and we are working with a lot of international students, but also Flemish students. And for all kind of internship, if it's in Belgium or abroad, there's always the KU Leuven contract as mandatory, where the name of the company is mentioned and everything, and the student has to apply because we are going to screen the application, the job description, to see if it's at the level of the study program. And then we are always in contact with the company. It's signed by the dean, by the company, and by the student. And there's also an application via the mobility tool in order to see if they're allowed to go abroad. For England, it will be okay, but sometimes it's for countries where there might be political issues or other issues that we have to check this.
Yeah.
So we normally only work with the KU Leuven contracts.
Okay.
Is it mandatory, because you mentioned a contract, is it mandatory to work with your contracts?
No, but we would probably put it in our system to just what we need to do is keep track of the progress of everything. So for example, once the students in the UK, after they've applied for their visa and everything, I have to report to the lawyers every week just to confirm that that person's still in the. So you can. But
it's almost the same way we work with the states, also with a sponsor, and then the real contract is the site of KU Leuven. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So Veronique has asked, just to make sure, a student going to study at a university, a student going to study is slightly different from what I was describing. What I was describing as a 6-month internship at a university. So we work with a university in Sheffield in the UK. It's actually a breakout company in the university, but it's still within the university. And the guy at the company has students from all around all around Europe on a 6-month internship, completely free of visa, because they're research placements rather than work placements. Well, that's the way we've worked around it anyway. So they would need an ETA, yes. For a study at a university for 6 months as an experience, an ETA would probably be sufficient. But for anything longer than 6 months, a student visa would probably be needed. I do tend to look at each individual applicant on its own merits rather than just making a sweeping statement that covers everybody. I like to be very sure about what I'm talking about. And you know, if you have any students that you're not sure about their status, I'd be more than happy to review what I consider their needs are to cross the border. Hello. Someone's raised their hand. Olive has.
Yes, I have. Trina, as you know, I'm not dealing with internships in my daily job, but looking at your website, I see a number of internships that are available at the moment. And my question is, do you have specific sectors or disciplines on offer, or do you have internships, or are there any internships in any discipline, any company?
I mean, absolutely can be in any discipline. ISDA is more towards STEM, but not exclusively. ESPA is across everything, so business, design, electronics, engineering, absolutely everything. We do a lot of business admin, a lot of marketing, business development, internships through ESPA. Marketing definitely for UK companies who want to reach worldwide, international, or something like that, to have a Belgium speaker in the UK doing their marketing to market to Belgium. It makes perfect sense. So yeah, across all disciplines.
Any other questions?
Yes, perhaps I'm repeating what my colleague Hilde from Leuven said, but here in Ghent as well, it's mandatory that after perhaps ASPA has suggested a company and the company has accepted the student, that we as a school are able to contact this company directly, because we all also follow up during the internship. There is an intermediate evaluation, there is a final evaluation. So there should be the possibility of direct contact between the company and our institution. So that will be possible.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really necessary in our case. Yeah.
How long does the COS application take for company? This is ordered by ESPA to 1. So we only work with Teen. We only work with Fragaman. They are the global immigration lawyers, and the application takes up to 72 hours. It's normally 1 to 2 days. Basically, I do all the work for them as well, so they literally have to press the buttons and it's done.
Okay. Anybody else? It's very quiet.
Very happy for anyone to contact me outside of this chat with any questions at all. I don't know if you've got my email address. I'll put it in here. spelt it right.
So one more question from Hilde.
No, sorry. There was no question, sorry.
So yeah, but basically it's quick and easy, and your students are very welcome to apply for our advertised internships on ESPA and IESTE. Equally, if they found their own internship, I will help them get their certificate of sponsorship and visa, and yeah.
Okay.
Indeed, I had a question. I can't read the chat. I don't know how it is with the others, but
Can you click on the chat button? Chat.
yeah, I know, but
Yeah,
they say
it's
there is
not
a
there?
problem. There is a
Oh,
problem
okay.
with I don't know what, reviewing or with the chat. So if you could just say your email address.
Yep, it's patrina.white@espauk.com.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. If there are no further questions, then I suggest that we stop here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your attendance. Thank you all for listening. And thank you very much, Patrina, for your information and explications about the internship possibilities in the UK. And I encourage my colleagues from the Flemish higher education institutions to contact you directly if any further questions arise.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.